Today, the Senate is considering the nomination of Andrew Wheeler to serve as the Administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency. It is the job of the EPA to protect both the environment and human health. This critically important agency needs Senate-confirmed leadership in place. President Trump picked the right person to lead this agency when he nominated Andrew Wheeler. Since April of last year, he has served as the Deputy Administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency. And since July of last year, he has served as the Acting Administrator of the agency. I believe Andrew Wheeler has done an outstanding job leading the EPA over the past 7 months. During the last administration, the EPA issued punishing regulations that would hurt the economy and raise costs on families. Under Acting Administrator Wheeler's leadership, the EPA has taken a different approach. The agency is now putting forward proposals that both protect our environment and allow the country's economy to flourish. Acting Administrator Wheeler has led efforts to issue common-sense regulatory proposals. These include the Affordable Clean Energy Rule and revising the definition of the waters of the United States. Both of these proposals show Mr. Wheeler is serious about clean air and clean water, while also understanding there's an important role for states and local communities to play. It can't be a top-down, Washington knows best approach. Acting Administrator Wheeler has played a critical role in implementing updates to the Toxic Substances Control Act, taking steps to limit people's exposure to dangerous and toxic chemicals. These updates are the result of major bipartisan legislation that came out of the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee in 2016. Andrew Wheeler is working to limit lead exposure as well. Last December, he helped unveil the Trump administration's multi-agency effort to reduce the number of children exposed to lead in drinking water, in consumer products, and in paint. During his tenure, the EPA has also worked to provide greater regulatory certainty to states, to tribes, to communities, and to the industries that it regulates. Mr. Wheeler is well qualified for the position of EPA Administrator. He spent decades, actually over 25 years, working in environmental policy. He has served as a career employee at the EPA, working as an environmental protection specialist. This experience makes him uniquely qualified to serve as the head of the agency. At that time, he spent over a decade here on Capitol Hill. When he left the EPA, he came here to work on the Environment and Public Works Committee. He served as the staff director of the Senate Environment and Public Works Clean Air Subcommittee for 6 years. Then he spent another 6 years working as Republican staff director and chief counsel for the full committee under Chairman Jim Inhofe. After his time on the Hill, he also worked as a consultant for a variety of energy and environmental clients. He's very well qualified, and that's a big reason why his nomination has received broad support. 63 agriculture and forestry groups wrote a letter in support of Mr. Wheeler's nomination to be the administrator. They wrote, quote, "It's hard to imagine a more qualified individual for the role of EPA administrator, and we respectfully request that the committee move to confirm his nomination so that he may be considered by the full Senate," they say, "at the earliest date possible." Mr. Wheeler has received praise from the United Mine Workers of America. Cecil Roberts, the union's international president, said the following about Mr. Wheeler. He said, "He will be a reasonable voice within the agency and will recognize the impact on both the workers and mining communities that are directly affected as EPA develops future emissions regulations." His experience and commitment to sound environmental policies has received recognition from Democrats as well. Senator Carper, who was with me on the floor, the ranking member of the committee, at one point said Mr. Wheeler, when he was nominated for the deputy administrator role, he said, "I think having worked in the agency, he actually cares about the environment, the air we breathe, the water we drink, the planet we live on." I agree. It is time to end the needless delays by Senate Democrats. Andrew Wheeler's nomination to serve as the deputy administrator was delayed for months and had to be reported out of the EPW committee twice before he was confirmed. Now Senate Democrats are calling to delay the process again. These delays only slow down the agency from meeting its objectives and helping communities in protecting the environment. EPA needs a Senate-confirmed administrator in office. The EPA administrator plays a central role in developing and implementing programs focused on meeting the EPA's mission of protecting human health and the environment. Andrew Wheeler is well qualified to lead this agency and to serve on the President's cabinet. He's the right person to be the administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency, and I strongly encourage every senator to support the nomination.